Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have discussed about the heat, that it is a form of energy which is transferred from one body to another due to the existence of temperature difference between them, as well as we have discussed it always travels from a object having higher temperature to that object having a lower temperature. Today we'll discuss about the effects of heat, that what are the effects of heat if we add heat or if we remove heat from any of the substance. So when a body is heated, various types of physical and chemical changes are observed to take place. So whenever a body or object is heated, different types of physical and chemical changes are observed to take place. We'll go through these different types of physical changes and chemical changes. So first we'll discuss about physical changes. In that list, the first is the case for change in temperature. We all know that addition or removal of heat to or from a body brings about a change in its temperature. So is it quite clear that whenever we add heat, it means that the temperature of the object will go on increasing, or if we remove heat from any of the object, it is clear the temperature of that substance or object will go on decreasing. So addition of heat to a body raises its temperature, whereas removal of heat from a body usually lowers its temperature. Second case, change of state. Under appropriate conditions, addition or removal of heat to or from a body can also bring about a change in its state. It means that under certain conditions, whenever we are adding heat or removing the heat from any substance, the state of that particular substance may so change. For example, on putting a tray of water that is in liquid form inside the freezer compartment of a refrigerator, the water freezes to form ice. Ice, as we know, is the solid form of water. Just like you may see here that we have kept water within this ice tray 6 to 7 hours before, and it has been transformed into its solid state, that is ice, which are ice cubes. Just like similarly, when water is heated over a flame, it starts boiling and gets converted into steam. Steam, as we know, is the gaseous or vapor form of water. Just like you may observe it here that we have taken amount of water within this frying pan and we are adding heat. So how that by the addition of heat, the water, that is the liquid form, it gets transformed into its gaseous form, that is the water vapor state. So from this diagram, we may understand that how the transformation of water into its different states, it takes place just by addition of heat or by its removal of heat. We all know ice, it is the solid state of water, whereas water, it is in its liquid state, and vapor is it in gaseous form. So ice, it gets converted to water. How? When we add heat. So this sign I have given here, straight triangle, which means heating, that is addition of heat, and the process name it would be called as melting. And water, it gets transformed into vapor form. Again, by adding more heat, the process would be called as evaporation. Just like the water vapor, when it is cooled down, means heat is being removed. So inverted triangle sign I have written here, mentioned here, this means cooling, that is removal of heat. So by the removal of heat from the gaseous form of water, it transforms it into its liquid state, that is water. So might you have seen when you may be bringing lunch boxes to your school, your parents may be giving to you, and when you open during the recess time, that tiny droplets of water falls down from the lid of the lunch box. How is it possible? This is only due to the reason the vapor which has been formed by the hot food, it has been released and it has no escape or point of escape to be released out. So it has been condensed there and it has been transformed into water droplets. So this vapor, it gets transformed into water, but the process name would be called as condensation. Just like water, again we may transform it into its solid state just by again removing the heat from the water, and the process name would be called as freezing. So this is the diagram showing transformation of water into its different states. Next physical change would be thermal expansion. Means the substance would show expansion up to certain limit. Most of the solids, liquids and gases are known to expand on heating. This phenomenon is called thermal expansion. So might many of the different types of solids, liquids or gases, they show expansion whenever they are heated up to a certain extent, and this property is called thermal expansion. For example, the metal rim to be put on a cartwheel is designed to have a slightly smaller diameter than that of the wheel. Means the cartwheel diameter would be much more as compared to the metal rim. But what happens? The metal rim is heated, and due to the addition of heat, the metal rim, it shows expansion and slips onto the wheel easily. When it is cooled, it contracts and grips to the wheel firmly. Just like might you may consider one more example. In the case of gases, how the thermal expansion it takes place, might we come across during the summer days that it is advised to keep lower tire pressure within our vehicular tubes or tires. Why? Because during this season the air gets heated up within the tire or tubes, and it may cause leakage or puncture within those tire or tubes. So it is advised to us to keep the air pressure up to a particular certain level during these days. Just like one more example, you may observe while you may be traveling by trains that in between the two railway tracks there is a gap in between them. Why the gap is there? The reason is that during the summer days, due to the heat, the iron shows expansion, and its shows expansion, and if the gap would not be there, may that it may cause curveness within the tracks, and it may cause adverse impact upon the plying of trains. So these cases do we have discussed about the physical changes, that are change in temperature, change of state and thermal expansion. Next is the chemical changes. Many chemical changes takes place only when the reactants are heated up. For example, we can prepare oxygen in the laboratory by heating potassium chlorate along with manganese oxide as a catalyst over a flame. So these types of reactions only may be carried under confined labs. So that there are certain chemical changes also which takes place whenever the substance is being heated up. Do you know? It is interesting to note that ice and cast iron are two of the few solids which contract on heating. Till so far we have discussed that there are certain solids and liquids or gases which shows expansion on heating, but there are certain few solids which shows contraction on heating. What are those? They are cast iron and ice. Cold water at 4 degrees Celsius is known to expand on cooling. This special property of water help us to understand why water pipes sometimes burst at very cold places. So this shows that why the water pipes that sometimes burst at very cold places. And second is soft drink glass bottle often cracks when left in the freezer compartment for a long time. So a soft drink bottle filled with that l- cold drink, and it often shows cracks when it is left in the freezer compartment for a long time. It is also linked with the survival of aquatic animals even at places where the surrounding atmospheric temperature goes down well below 0 degree Celsius. Till so far here, thank you. Have a nice day.